This Sonic Superstars full review is the result of my playthrough of the entire game to uncover what's amazing about it, and what's not. So let's jump straight into the heart of the experience, the gameplay. This game has the same physics as the original Sonic the Hedgehog series, as well as the recent Sonic Mania, so if you're a fan of those, you'll feel right at home with this. Sonic is known for speed and platforming, but it's not just about the speed. This game keeps the classic idea of building momentum, so it takes some real skill to get through the levels. But if you think of the classic scenario of getting stuck on a hill or running into a rock, that can happen in this game as well, and you can lose all your momentum. But the levels also have a nice mix of platforming in them as well, and you'll be treated to some epic cinematic moments that work very smoothly with the gameplay, while some moments were just downright hilarious. And the levels are huge, so you can explore them and go back and find secret areas or the fastest routes, basically whatever you want to get out of the game. Which brings me to my next point, replay value. You can play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or Amy, who all have different abilities, which gives you a variety of gameplay. Sonic has his drop dash, whereas Tails can fly temporarily, Knuckles can glide across gaps or climb walls, and Amy has a hammer so you can just demolish everything. And she has a double jump, which has saved me on more than one occasion. A nice touch with the four characters is that there's a special stage in story mode specifically designed for them, where you play as that character in a level that's designed specifically for their abilities, and it offers you a fun chance to mix it up in the story mode as you're playing through. So while I was exploring the levels with these characters and their optional Lego skins, I thought it was awesome that you still had the option to jump into a bonus stage, which will bring back nostalgia from one of the special stage types in the original Sonic the Hedgehog. The purpose of this bonus stage is so you can collect medals that you can spend in the shop so you can customize your character in online battle mode. And there's this stage where you're floating through the air trying to catch as many rings as you can. There are optional special stages that you can unlock using a piece of fruit that you collect throughout the story. These stages are more laid back and offer you more rewards, such as collecting medals. The special stage that benefits you the most in story mode is the Chaos Emerald stages, where you swing through the stage kind of like Spider-Man and you're trying to catch the Chaos Emerald. And keep in mind that you do have a timer that's counting down to 0, but you can gain time back if you swing from dots that have rings around them. Once you catch the Chaos Emerald, you'll unlock a new ability for all the characters, which brings the game even more variety. And what I like about the Chaos Emeralds in this game is that they really balance out the different characters as well. For example, if you're Tails, you can just fly up and explore a place, whereas if you're Sonic, you might not be able to get up there, but one of the Chaos Emeralds allows you to build a vine so you can get up higher. Which brings me to my first criticism about this game. All the Chaos Emerald stages are basically the same. There's little variation and you're pretty much just swinging like Spider-Man to collect every Chaos Emerald. So it can get old pretty quick, and wouldn't you want more variety for these stages, such as this stage from Sonic the Hedgehog 2? I know I would, and after I played through these stages a few times, I wanted something else to do. And to be honest, I don't even go into this boring Sky Ring stage anymore. It lasts a few seconds and it's not really worth it. But what does provide more of a challenge is the boss fights. They get progressively harder as you go, and they each have a pattern just like an old school retro game, which I like to figure out. This makes platformer games fun because you're trying to figure out the pattern to the bosses and how to defeat them. And if you're stuck, you can use the Chaos Emerald powers to help you get through it. Keep in mind that the characters have different abilities as well, so as an example, when I was Tails, I could just fly up in the air when these stone platforms were coming down to crush me. And when I was Knuckles, I could just chill over here on the wall when the boss was doing bossy stuff. And I promise you that while the early bosses might seem a bit easy, they will challenge you as the game progresses. So as far as the main storyline gameplay goes, they nailed it. That is until you play co-op mode. All I can say about it is that it's a complete mess. When you're playing with someone else, they'll fall off the screen all the time because the characters get separated naturally, and this results in the player off screen having to keep spawning in, which loses their momentum and also is just super inconvenient, and everything you did up until that point doesn't matter anymore because you just get respawned again and again and again. And that's not the only issue here. The camera seems to prefer to chase the player who's in front, but it also gets confused sometimes, so this can be a little bit disorienting. And the entire time when I was playing this, I just thought, why are they fixing what's not broken? What's always worked in local couch co-op is split screen. Now I understand when you do a split screen horizontally or vertically, it does take away from your experience of the visual of the whole world. but what should be more important is the player's experience during the gameplay. Another suggestion for co-op is that in the online battle mode, if you cross the finish line, you can sit back and watch the other players finish the race, so why not do the same thing for a split screen? And if the developers are in a rush for the players to finish the level, then why not limit the remaining players so they can't go backwards as they progress through, similar to the first Super Mario game on original Nintendo. But speaking of online battle mode, as I was collecting medals throughout the story mode, I'd go into the shop and I spent mine on creating metal tails because, let's face it, metal tails is awesome. But there's a lot of customization options in the shop, which I thought was awesome, and you can get as creative as you like. And when your character's ready, you can play online against a mix of real people and bots, and I actually thought that online was pretty fun. You basically start a match and you have 3 stages. The first stage is a platforming stage where you compete to see who can collect the most stars before the time runs out. And the second stage is a survival platforming stage where you have to stay on the platforms without falling while cannons are shooting and taking them out. They'll also give out from under your feet, so you have to be careful. The third stage is a race to the finish line. The online characters have the same abilities as Sonic. The developers cleverly put obstacles in the way to slow you down so people got a chance to catch up. Aside from being competitive, it's also a great way to build up more medals that you can spend in the shop while you rank up. But this brings me to another criticism about this game. They're basically trying to make the online battle mode similar to a Mario Party game, but imagine you bought a Mario Party game and it only had 3 stages. So as you can tell, after I played a couple of matches, I was bored of it. Why would you keep playing this when you could go back and play the awesome single player? Now, if you enjoyed the single player story mode as much as I did, you still have a chance to compete against people online in the time attack mode. This mode basically allows you to choose a level and try to get through it as fast as possible and compare your time with people on the leaderboards. And I noticed that there were some people that finished these levels in like 30 seconds when it took me over a minute, so if you're into speedrunning, this might be a perfect option for you. So with all that information in mind, I have to rate this game 8 out of 10. Because while the single player story mode was amazing and they nailed it, I have to keep in mind that the special stages get pretty monotonous, the co-op is a complete mess right now, and the battle mode doesn't have much variety. But what I'm excited about is that this game reminds me of when New Super Mario Bros. Came out on Nintendo DS and Wii console, and we can see with Super Mario Wonder how far that series has come, and I think this is the first step in the right direction for the Sonic franchise, and I personally can't wait to see where this series goes. And I want to thank you for tuning into this review, and I'll see you in the next one.